Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah, our Father, and Yahusha. He is the Mashayah, the one that carries the burden of Yah. His voice, our High Priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yeshurun, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one, brothers and sisters, than Yahuwah. And Yahusha is his voice. This is Brother Dawood coming to you again with the indictment. For thy violence against thy brother, YACUB. This is part 5. What would be the end result? Shame shall cover you, Esau, and you shall be cut off forever. Did you indict him in part 4? After what he did to his brother? It would have been a simple thing to allow his brother to be buried with his family members. But he denied that to Yeshurun, and judgment was rendered upon him. Husham rushed forward and chopped off Esau's head. The end. And they watched as the children of Yeshurun buried our patriarch, YACUB, in the cave of Machpelah. Now we come down to the Exodus. Let's see. From the time that the one we call Joseph, at the time that Joseph's brother, and Joseph's name is Yahusep, from the time they came into Egypt to get grain, there was 215 years to the Exodus. There was 5 years left of the famine. After the 5 years had transpired, YACUB came into the land and met Pharaoh, which left 210 years to the Exodus. YACUB died. There was 198 years to the Exodus when YACUB died. Then Yahusep died. There was 144 years left to the Exodus. Just wanted to give you a timeline. Now look at this graphic. Highly disputed, yet it's on the walls in Egypt. Do you know what the scholars claim? They cannot find any evidence of the Exodus. Some say they made it up. Who are they talking about? They're talking about the Jews. Yet, here this event is on the walls in Egypt. Look at them. Look at their robes. See the one in the front with the brown goat? He has fringes on his garment. They don't look like the Egyptians, do they? I mean, their clothing. They have beautiful robes and clothes. Hmm. Look up top. You see the hieroglyphs here? They will tell a story. I want you to remember something. I am not an expert in hieroglyphs or in pictographs. I'm learning just like you are. The difference is that I have something that most people do not have. It is called the Spirit of Yahuwah that leads me and guides me. I can make no false claims that I am so intelligent that I can do these things on my own. Now we're going to read what we have here in the pictograph. At least we're going to attempt. Look at the numbers. You see there's 2 lines and 2 loops. Those are numbers. On the top is 22. A loop is 10. Then on the bottom it has 5 lines and 1 loop. 15. 22. 15. Why are they giving these numbers? Could this be a date? Okay, look what comes next. This one is easy for anyone to comprehend, right? It's a man taken captive. See the yellow man up top? Taken captive. What follows after him? A staff. A cane. What happened? Well, remember Masha came into the land, him and Harun, the one we call Aaron, and they had this staff. They threw it down before Pharaoh, turned into a serpent, and then the magicians came in, threw down their staffs. Theirs turned into a serpent, but the staff of Masha and Harun ate the other serpents. You remember that story? Then what happened? The plagues came, remember? See the owl there? It speaks of sickness and death. The plagues came all over Egypt. And look, up top, after you see the owl, see the yellow symbol there? That means great, mighty, powerful. And under it is an arm stretched forth with an open palm. And do you see those little swiggly lines to the waters? Sound familiar? Who are the waters? The children of Yesharo. And look, there's the lower torso or the hip part to the legs. It's walking away. And look who's pursuing these legs. The horned serpent. Under the watchful eye. You see the eye there? And even in Egyptian it is An. Yeah. And look at the orange or, let's see, reddish color up top with the dot in the middle. That is time. And see the blue one? That is bread. Something should be triggered in you right now. Okay, let's proceed. Then you see the serpent and the buzzard. They speak for themselves. The serpent, if you ever seen Exodus, Gods and Kings, on the helmets of the military, the one whom Pharaoh led, the young Pharaoh, he had the image of the serpent. And the guy who played Masha, his infantry, had the head of a buzzard on their helmets. Just check it out, brothers and sisters. And look, they ran into an obstacle. Do you see the thing with 3 lines coming down? They ran into an obstacle. Fire. Heat. That's what that symbol represents. What happened in the Bible when there was this wall of fire? The children of Yasharal crossed over the waters. You see the hip and the feet again. They did it on foot. And look, you see the bread on the bottom. Then the next slide, or the next thing, is the yellow man. You see that yellow man there? He has bread on the top of his head. But look at the reed. That is a reed. The reed has feet. It's trying to tell you something. They crossed over the reeds. And then the last symbol there is land. Do you see the first person there with the brown goat? Yeah. Do you see the symbols right there above his head? The blue one is a mountain or hill. Under it, desert, land. Yellow, shepherd's staff. Come down under the goat's head. You'll see a foot. And then afterwards is the reed. And then below the foot is land. And then you have plants, a fertile land. What do you think about that, brothers and sisters? Come down to the bottom. Look, we have the children on the donkey. And we have the young man there with his spear. He's in training to be a warrior. And then we have these women. Look at their garments. Aren't they magnificent? These are not Egyptians. Then you have the donkey. He's carrying the spear and seems something like a stool. But look in the hands of the first guy. He has something like a harp or a musical instrument. You see it there? And the one in the back is a warrior. He's got his bow and his arrows in his back. And it seems like some type of blunt instrument he has in his hands. Maybe it's a weapon. All right. Brother Dawood. Yes. I have a question. Okay. The people who are being depicted, they don't look like Hebrews or people of color. They look something like Arabs, like the Saudis, right? Look at the Egyptians. They're brown. But the other guys were painted in yellow. How can these be the children of Yeshua? Let me give you a heads up. This is an artist's rendition of what he saw on the walls. Can I show you another artist's rendition? Seems like almost the same people. But they have melanin. Look up top. Do you see the brother? See, I can say brother now because they have melanin. You see the brother that is tied up? Now look at the staff that follows after him. Look inside the staff. There's a serpent there. It's telling you a story. A picture speaks 1,000 words. So why did they paint them yellow in the beginning? It is what they do in Egypt today. It is called white washing. Now, the only way that we can prove what these people really look like is to go to the actual paintings that are on the wall. That's even darker than what they painted. Look up top. This is the original wall painting. I mean, it's a picture from Egypt, Middle Egypt, Beni Hassan. We have so many dates. Look, 2215 was on the walls. That's the number was on the wall, wasn't it? Well, when you check it out, you'll say, huh, Brother Dawood is right. And then they said that this came from the tomb of Khnum Hotep, 1887 to 1878. And they have BC there. And then we have another date, another conflicting date, Ak Mose, 1580 BC. What about the date that is more known to people who read the Bible? It would be 1270 BC, in the time of Ramesses the Great. Yeah, that's when they say that the Exodus occurred. But yet, in the time of Ramesses the Great, they found no evidence, nothing on the walls whatsoever, about an exodus from Egypt. Yet, here it is. Could it be that they saw it? That they know it? And they decided to discard it? Because to show it would be to admit that the children of YACUB are melanated. Let me show you another. Here's a wider view I want you to look at the man who crossed over on the top in the story. He was a yellow man before. But in here, on the walls, he's actually brown. So it was a brown man who crossed over the reeds. Even the waters, even that was pursued by the serpent, even the arm stretched forth was brown, and the one taken captive, brown. Now you see why they did not present this. It shows who and what the people of the book look like. Now, look at the paint on the walls. 4,000 to 3,500 years old. If you were to paint your house, they would say, what, 15 years? Yeah. But it's exposed to the elements. But here, this paint is 3,500 to 4,000 years old. In a tomb. Extreme heat. But yet, it still shows the color of the people who are in question. Let me show you another. Here's another painting, up close, not painting, but this is the actual wall. Now we're getting a little closer so we can see what the true faces look like. These faces are different from what they painted in the yellow, isn't it? I'm going to tell you something that is extraordinary to me. Do you see the guy who is looking back? That is the exact image of my son when he had his afro. Then I said to myself, hold it. My son looks exactly like me. So I had a license and I pulled it out when I had my afro and I looked at it. Exact match. Brothers and sisters, look at yourself. Men, look at yourself here. You're going to find faces of our brothers and our sisters that you can see right here in the land of our captivity. This is amazing. Why are we finding all of these things out today? Your Bible tells you that in the last days, knowledge will be greatly increased. Listen what else it says. Everything that was hidden must be revealed. I am revealing this to you today. Look at their garments. Absolutely spectacular. Here's another picture of the walls, a close-up. See my son and myself there, looking backwards. He's looking upon the two children on the donkey, or he's looking at his woman. Man, she is fine. Look at her skin, ladies. She looks like you. This is your color. Hold it 1 second. Remember, 4,000 to 3,500 years old. And the paint is still on the wall. What kind of paint was this that they were using? Why didn't the Europeans paint exactly what they saw, instead painted them white? Here's another. 4,000 to 3,500 years old. 4,000 to 3,500 years old. If we were back in the time when this was first painted, you could look at the picture. Well, you can still do that now. And look at you. And you will see yourself in this. Now do you see why they did not present this to the masses? I mean, this is the find of the century, or centuries, or millenniums. But they didn't present it to the masses. Have you ever heard anything about this? They didn't present it to the masses. Why? Because it doesn't look like them. That's why they painted the pictures in their own image. I have some homework for you. I want you to see 2 movies. Exodus Decoded. That should be your first movie. It's going to be an eye-opener. Yes. But be careful. Everything they say is not true. You have to be able to chew the meat and spit out the bone. Yeah. You can find Exodus Decoded on Amazon. I think it was $2.99. They want you to pay for it. If it's $10.99, $20.99, $50.99, $100.99, pay for it. They're going to open your eyes. Then I want you to watch the search for the real Mount Sinai. Also on Amazon. That one should be free if you have an Amazon Prime account. But if not, pay for it. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, everything that they taught you now has become a lie. They're finding all of the evidence of the truth and who the real people of the book are. It is you, hidden ones. But now you have been revealed. You see the dates that I have up top? I don't know if I said this before, but I'll say it again. Between each of the dates is about a 300-year period. Sounds strange to me. But the only numbers that we had on the walls, and I can't say that it's a date, but the number comes right before the man who was tied up, captured. A foreigner, they say. Amu. Those who come from the Near East, not Middle East. The Near East. That sounds familiar to me. Look at the robes of the ladies. Do you see those designs? If you got Netflix, look at this movie Queen Jenga. And behind her, in one of the scenes, you'll see these designs. Look at the second lady from the left. Do you see that design there on her dress? This design is on Versace. Do you see it? It even has fringes. I was watching Al Jazeera and they were speaking about all of the items, statues, cloths, designs, art that was stolen from Africa by the Europeans. And they brought this up and they showed it. And I was blown away. This is while I'm in the midst of making this video. We are a people robbed and spoiled. Now I want you to have the ability to check these things. So what you have to look for is Hyksos expulsion. You go to Google, type in Hyksos expulsion. And then once you click enter, go to images and you can browse through the images, or just type in Hyksos and see what comes up. Yeah. You see, they put the people of the Hyksos right with the children of Yasharal. Most likely they were in the land at the same time. But they used the Hyksos, the Hyksos, to cover up what is on the walls in Egypt. They are very slippery, brothers and sisters. But when you have the Spirit of Yahuwah, and you ask, you have to actually ask. Anytime you're studying, you ask the Father to lead you and guide you. And He will. Immediately, just ask. The reason that you receive not is because you ask not. And then when you do ask, you ask for the wrong things. You miss the mark. Always ask for knowledge. Let's continue to our lesson for today. Ha Yashar Jasher 81 1-5. 1. And the children of Yasharal journeyed from Ramesses to Sukkot. We need to stop already. They journeyed from Ramesses. Were they journeying from a king? Or was this a location in Egypt? Let's continue. About 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones and their wives. That's a lot of people. 600,000 men on foot. Look who else was expelled, kicked out of the land with them. 2. Also a mixed multitude went up with them, and there was flocks and herds and even much cattle. Mixed multitude. Could some of them have been the Hyksos? Were they expelled also at the same time? They have the story of the Hyksos expulsion, but they won't say that it's the children of Yasharal who are the ones who were expelled first, and everyone else who were in the land that were slaves, that they were afraid of, they kicked them out also. 3. And the sojourning of the children of Yasharal who dwelt in the land of Egypt in hard labor was 210 years. What? Brother Dawood, the Jews said that they were in hard bondage. in Egypt for 400 years. Brother Dawood, some of our brothers say that we were the ones who were in bondage in Egypt for 400 years. Those are lies. I've been showing you the timeline and teaching you for the longest, preparing you for this. 210 years. Let me go through it again for you. When the brothers came to meet Joseph in the land of Egypt, I'm going to use those names so that it can be clear to you. There was 215 years to the Exodus. There was 5 years left to the end of the famine. YACUB came to meet Pharaoh. 210 years to the Exodus. YACUB died. There was 198 years to the Exodus. No one was taken captive yet. YACUB was in control. He ruled over all Egypt. YACUB died 144 years before the Exodus. Okay, so now that I've filled you in with that, you can see that the translator, he messed up here. Let me see if I can correct his translation. 3. And the sojourning of the children of Yasharel, who dwelt in the land of Egypt, and then taken into hard labor, was 210 years. That would make this statement precise and perfect. 4. And at the end of 210 years, Yahuwah brought forth the children of Yasharel from Egypt with a strong hand. So now you know. For a true fact, anyone who says that they were in the land of Egypt for 400 years is a liar. 5. And the children of Yasharel traveled from Egypt and from Goshen and from Ramesses. Hold it. What are you talking about, Brother Dawood? Could you say that again? Okay. And the children of Yasharel traveled from location, Egypt, and from location, Goshen, and from location, Ramesses. Ramesses is a city. This is not Ramesses II. Are you seeing what I'm trying to tell you here? If you have no reading comprehension, or you don't go to check, try, and prove everything, you will never know these truths. All of your enemies will be found to be liars in this time. And they encamped in Succoth on the 15th day of the first month. Isn't that amazing? Okay, we're going to jump to 84. Verse 1. At that time, Korah, the son of Jetzer, the son of Kehath, the son of Levi, took many men of the children of Yasharel, and they rose up and quarreled with Masha and Aharon and the whole congregation. Do you see this, brothers and sisters? The Father doesn't like quarrelsome people, debaters, people who like to argue. Let me show you what he's going to do to them. 2. And Yahuwah was angry with them, and the earth opened its mouth, and swallowed them up with their houses and everything belonging to them. It was the men, right? So their children and their wives were swallowed up also. Look who else. And all the men who attached themselves to Korah. Watch who you attach yourself to. Instead, test, try, and prove all things. 3. And after this, God, well, we know God is H430. So after this, the Aliyam made the people go around by the way of Mount Seir for a long time. Is that true? Yes. It says in the book that they were in the cloud. 4. At that time, Yahuwah said unto Masha, do not provoke a war against the children of Esau, a Shaul. For I will not give you of anything belonging to them, even as much as the sole of the foot could tread upon. For I have given Mount Seir for an inheritance to a Shaul. An inheritance? Who gave a Shaul that land that they're on today? Yahuwah. 5. Therefore did the children of Shaul fight against the children of Seir in former times. And Yahuwah had delivered the children of Seir into the hands of the children of Shaul, and destroyed them from before them. And the children of Shaul, Esau, dwelt in their stead, even unto this day. So the author of the book of Ha-Yashar said that they were there even to that day. Could we fast forward to 2023? They are still there, even unto this day. Yah said he searched them out. He's uncovered them. Do you want to cover them back up and say that they are the white man? 6. Therefore, Yahuwah said to the children of Yasharel, do not fight against the children of Shaul, your brethren. He's our brother. He's our family member. He comes from the same loins that YACUB did. For nothing in their land belongs to you, but you may buy food of them for money and eat it. You may buy water of them for money and you can drink it. 7. And the children of Yasharel did according to the word of Yahuwah. 8. And the children of Yasharel went about the wilderness, going round by the way of Mount Sinai, that is Mount Horeb, for a long time, and touched not the children of Shaul, and they continued in that district for 19 years. 19 years they were in the same area, region, district, yet didn't come near Mount Seir. They were probably in Yamaniah, and then they went to the east of the Promised Land, and they were going around in circles. What area would you call that? Well, they call it today Saudi Arabia. Tell me something. I thought Yah hated Esau. He said, YACUB have I loved, but Esau, Esau, I hate him. Why did he give this land? Because it says up top, he delivered the children of Seir into the hands of the children of Esau. Why did he do that? And he hates him. The power of the righteous man who keeps the commandments, when he blesses his children, it is even upheld in the heavens. What was the blessing? The dew that falls from heaven and the things that come from the ground. What does the Shaul or the Saudis have there in their land today? This land, Mount Seir and Saudi Arabia, that's so abundant. Oil. 9. At that time, Latinus, king of the children of Chittim, or Kittim, in the 45th year of his reign, which was the 14th year of the children of Yeshua's departure from Egypt. Why is it mentioning Latinus, king of the children of Kittim? There was one who came before him. His name was Zepho. He was an Edomite. Kittim is the Romans. The Romans hired Zepho to defeat their enemies. They heard of his fame and how powerful of a warrior he was. So they hired him to go and defeat their enemies. And after he defeated all of their enemies, they decided that they wanted him to be their king. And he reigned for over 50 years. Then the next king came, Latinus. And look at 10. And they buried him in the place which he had built for himself in the land of Kittim. And Abimnas reigned in his place for 38 years. The end. Could this have been the bloodline of Zepho? Now you can see the relationship that Edom had with the Romans. Remember how they went to the Romans? They had a message that they carried to them to come against us, to rise up in battle against us. Remember, we went through this already. And then the book told us something about those people who were joined together, that the Edomites were greatly despised by the Romans. Why do you think that is? Because you had 2 Edomites, or 3 maybe, 3 ruled in Rome. 11. And the children of Yeshua passed the boundary of the children of Esau in those days. At the end of 19 years, and they came and passed the road of the wilderness of Moab. 12. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, do not besiege Moab. Do not fight against them, for I will give you nothing of their land. You got that? Why? Moab comes from Lot. They were also family. I hope you guys see and understand what is happening here. 13. And the children of Yeshua passed the road of the wilderness of Moab for 19 years. They were just wandering around and around. So they left the south, and now they're moving further north. And they did not fight against Moab. 14. And in the 36th year of the children of Yashar's departing from Egypt, Yahuwah smote the heart of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and he waged war. And he went forth to fight against the children of Moab. What? Hey, Yah told us not to fight against them. But here, he raised up Sihon, the king of the Amorites, to fight against Moab. 15. And Sihon sent messengers to Beor, the son of Janias, the son of Balaam, counselor to the king of Egypt, and to Balaam, his son, to curse Moab, in order that it might be delivered into the hand of Sihon. 16. And the messengers went and brought Beor, the son of Janias, and Balaam, his son, from Pethor in Mesopotamia. So Beor and Balaam, his son, came to the city of Sihon, and they cursed Moab and their king in the presence of Sihon, king of the Amorites. 17. So Sihon went out with his whole army, and he went to Moab and fought against them, and he subdued them. Listen to this. And Yahuwah delivered them, who's them? The people of Moab, into his hands. And Sihon slew the king of Moab. 18. And Sihon took all the cities of Moab in the battle. He also took Heshbon from them, for Heshbon was one of the cities of Moab. And Sihon placed his princes and his nobles in Heshbon, and Heshbon belonged to Sihon in those days. 19. Therefore the parable speakers Beor and Balaam, his son, uttered these words, saying, Come unto Heshbon, the city of Sihon will be built and established. 20. Woe unto you, Moab, you are lost, O people of Chemosh. Behold, it is written upon the book of the law of God. That's H430, right? It's written upon the book of the Alayam. Yahuwah orchestrated this whole thing. 21. And when Sihon had conquered Moab, he placed guards in the cities which he had taken from Moab. And a considerable number of the children of Moab fell in the battle into the hand of Sihon, and he made a great capture of them. He took slaves of their sons and daughters, and he slew their king. So Sihon turned back to his own land. Note, now that you know this story, let me tell you the story that comes later. The children of Yashar, when they came into the land, they fought against Sihon in Heshbon and all of the lands of Moab, and defeated them, utterly destroyed. Yeah, their people. Look what happened. The children of Moab that were left rejoiced. Our cousins came to rescue us. Now we are under their protection. Now you see how Ruth was marrying some of the children, some of the men of the tribe of Yehudah. And how all of this came about. The father made the children of Yasharal heroes to Moab. Let's continue. 22. And Sihon gave numerous presents of silver and gold to Beor and Balaam his son, And he dismissed them, and they went to Mesopotamia, to their home and country. You can go home now. The deed has been done. 23. At that time, all the children of Yashar passed from the road of the wilderness of Moab, and returned and surrounded the wilderness of Edom. Doom. 24. So the whole congregation came to the wilderness of Sin in the first month. Hold it 1 second. Hold it, we need to stop. How did they find the first month? Were they using Pope Gregory's calendar? Pope Gregory's calendar and that way of counting the days did not exist at all in ancient times. So they couldn't have been using that. Were they using Meton? Of course not. They knew who their mighty one was, unlike our brothers and sisters here. They think they have to manipulate a calendar in order to receive the blessings that come from the heavens. No, you don't have to do that. Just keep his commandments. And that's it. So how did they find the first month? The new moon. It is the only thing in the Bible that they use for time. How many months are there in a year? There's 12. So they came to the wilderness of Sin in the first month of the 40th year. Hold it. They were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. How did they count the 40 years? Were there any additions of 13th months? Here's a better question. Did they have a harvest? They're not in the land yet. They're still wandering. Well, they're at the end of their wandering, here in the 40th year. They still haven't received their inheritance. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you here? It is said that when they came out of Egypt, that the crops were smitten by the plagues, the hail and the fire and the locust. What does that have to do with the harvest of the children of Yashar? They didn't have any harvest in the wilderness for 40 years. They didn't make any adjustments to the calendar. They knew nothing about this way of counting the days. They had to rely on He who was seated upon the throne to supply everything for them. That was a part of the covenant. Fast forward to today. 400 years we've been in the land of our captivity. And here, our brothers and our sisters are following these calculations of the Gentiles, keeping their Shabbats and adding additional months to the calendar because they say that you'll find that the months will go all the way back into the winter and the fall months if you keep letting the moon drift back 10 days every year. In the Promised Land, we're talking about a whole different climate than in Europe. They are said to only have 2 seasons, spring and summer. It's always hot there. Just like here in Florida. If we get a cool front here, we are excited. But we can plant year round as long as the rains come from the heavens. Are you with me? Let's continue. So they came to the wilderness of Sin in the first month of the 40th year from their departure from Egypt, and the children of Yasharel dwelt there in Kadesh of the wilderness of Sin, and Miriam died there, and she was buried there. 25. At that time, Moshe sent messengers to Hadad, king of Edom, saying, listen to the message. Thus says your brother, Yasharel. Do you see how this works? Generations have passed. Yet, the people who are in Saud, that have the seed of a Shaul, they are still our brother. Listen what the request was. Let me pass, I pray you, through the land. We're not going to pass through your fields or your vineyards. We won't even drink the water of your wells. We will walk in the king's road. If they didn't go this way, they would have had to go all the way around, which would have been another long journey. 26. And Edom said to him, you shall not pass through my country. Adum. These are the children of Shaul, the children of Esau. Doesn't it sound familiar? Remember what the children of Esau said at the cave of Machpelah? You shall not bury YACUB here. They're still holding on to this hatred. Why? Husham, son of Dan, son of YACUB, rushed forth and cut off their patriarch's head. Judgment. So now they have it out for us to destroy every last one of us. Listen to the language. And Edom, Adum, said unto him, you shall not pass through my country. And Adum went forth to meet the children of Yasharel with a mighty people. Action speaks louder than words. 27. And the children of Shaul refused to let the children of Yasharel pass through the land. So the Israelites, no, Yasharel Yam, removed from them and fought not against them. Praise Yah. They followed instructions. 28. Could it be that Yah had saw this from the beginning and wanted us to avoid it? Yes. 28. For before this Yahuwah had commanded the children of Yasharel, saying, you shall not fight against the children of Esau or Shaul. Therefore Yasharel Yam removed from them and did not fight against them. 29. So the children of Yasharel departed from Kadesh, and all the people came to Mount Horeb. 30. At that time, Yahuwah said unto Moshe, tell your brother Aharon that he shall die there. For he shall not come into the land which I have given to the children of Yasharel. Why? He built the golden calf. Who else didn't make it in? All of those who participated when Aharon built the calf. They had to die off. Who else didn't make it? Masha didn't make it. He was supposed to sanctify, set Yahuwah apart. At the split rock, he was told to speak to the rock. Instead, he struck it twice with his staff. What would it have sounded like if he spoke to it? In the name of he who is seated upon the throne, Yahuwah, I command you, bring forth water. Then Yahuwah would have been sanctified in that statement. But when he struck the rock, the people looked to Masha as their mighty one. That was the offense and what he did. 31. And Aharon went up at the command of Yahuwah to Mount Horeb in the 40th year, in the 5th month, in the first day of the month. See, the book gives you dates, and you can always check them. It's just, it takes sometimes a few years to find out all these truths, but you have to keep at it. You cannot give up. 32. And Aharon was 123 years old when he died in Mount Horeb. All right. So you've seen another offense. You see what they did to us again. They would not let us pass. Continue to part 6. Shalom.